Welcome to the newest SML podcast, where we get to know our newest member, and today I am joined with none other than Finz, making his first SML podcast debut. What's going on, Finz?
Not much, man. Good to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, I wonder how many times I'm going to call you Figs in this this podcast, because I almost did it on the intro.
Figs is going to love that because he dropped the FU Finz earlier when I told him I don't like any teams from Boston, so that'll be great.
Well, yeah, Figs is a big Boston guy. So let's quickly go over for how this is going to go. We're going to quickly talk about Finz and what is, just general stuff about him. And I've let him know ahead of time that he can get as personal or as impersonal as he wants to. You know, if he doesn't want to give us his address, we're not going to make him. But then we're going to talk about his Madden experience, his SML and his primary experience thus far, and then we're going to hit my favorite segment, Rapid Fire, which I have not run any of those questions by him, most of the other ones that I have. So, you about ready to get started?
I'm down. Let's go.
All right, so let's just start off real general. Where are you from? I know we were kind of talking about it in chat earlier tonight, so it's kind of puts a damper on it already, but...
I'm from the Great White North. Everyone loves to hate on Canada, but I'm from. I was born in a town called St. Catharines, which is like right by Niagara Falls. You guys probably know Niagara Falls. You guys have the shitty Niagara Falls. Canada has the best one, the horseshoe one. And then when I became a teacher, I moved up to closer to Toronto, so I'm just like an hour outside of Toronto.
So that's in Quebec, right?
How dare you? No, Ontario.
Yeah, piss off the Canadian. What are you going to do about it?
Well, I mean, we're just going to just keep it internal because we're nice people at heart, so.
Yeah. Well, okay, so let's talk about your PSN, which I cannot say I have committed to memory yet. Let me scroll up through chat and find it. Finz 1976. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you were born in 1976.
Yes, you are correct.
Nice.
So the Finz comes from my last name. My last name's Finley. So growing up, I was always known as Finz. And then when I joined, I was an Xbox guy exclusively for the longest time. And then I had the Red Ring of Death on my 360 like 9 times. So I was like, screw this platform. I'm going to PlayStation. So when I joined PlayStation, there was so many Finz out there. I think I went through like 12 or 13 iterations before I was able to like, screw it, I'm just going to use my birth date. And back then, it was okay. Now it really dates you because I'm about as old as Woods. So.
Yeah, well, it's, the birth year thing's been going around for forever. I don't think many people are doing it nowadays. But, I mean, I had my birth year in my Instagram for like 5 years. So I don't blame you for that one. What's your favorite NFL team? I was hoping you weren't a Dolphins fan because that would have been a lame story.
I am actually a Dolphins fan.
Oh, hey, there you go. All right.
Yeah, I grew up, so growing up just outside of Buffalo, all of my friends were Bills fans. So I, of course, went the different route and tended to love their arch rival, and it just worked out that Dan Marino was also my favorite player at that time, so it was just a logical transition.
Yeah, okay. So you're a Dolphins fan. What are your 3 other favorite teams in the Big Four? MLB, NBA, and NHL.
I am for baseball, I have 2. I know Mike is going to love that because Mike hates people who love 2 baseball teams, but I'm a Jays and a Cardinals fan. In basketball, I grew up an Atlanta Hawks fan, oddly enough. I was a massive Dominique Wilkins fan. Have his retro jersey, actually, right beside me. But now I'm a Raptors fan. And in hockey, the Penguins.
Okay, so it's all kind of spread around, but, you're from Canada. You don't have a whole lot to choose from. You watch any sports outside of those Big Four? Like, I know Masters weekend was just this weekend, and quite a few guys in the league were paying attention to that. I personally don't watch golf, but I might watch NASCAR or something from time to time.
Oh God, NASCAR. You mean turn left? No, I don't generally watch any other sports outside of that. I'll occasionally watch unless we're talking the Olympics. In the Olympics, I'll watch curling. Like I'm a huge Olympics junkie. But no, I don't really watch. And even this year, I didn't even watch college basketball. I'm a UCLA Bruins fan for some odd reason. So it was a nice run this year, but I didn't catch any of their games, and even though they made it to the Final Four.
Yeah, it's I really do enjoy March Madness, and I was kind of counting that as part of the Big Four, even though it's not a professional sport. But when you're not playing Madden, what other video games do you play?
Tons. I'm a huge MLB The Show guy. We were talking all about that in the chat. So that will occupy basically every other minute of my day from now until next September, probably. But I mean, like my trophy count on PlayStation is like in the 300s, I think. So I play everything. I was just playing Cyberpunk there for the longest time. What else do I got here? I still play GTA Online. I've been playing that since PS3. Love the Spider-Man. Love. Dude, I'll play anything. I'm a big RPG guy, so I like to get down with those a lot as well.
Yeah, RPGs are a ton of fun. I'll play any sports game. But then if I'm not playing a sports game, RPGs are my go-to. You know, your Spider-Man. My all-time favorite game is either Dishonored or Fable. So that's a little bit about what I like.
I loved Fable back on Xbox. That was a game that I really enjoyed. That was one of their exclusive titles, if I'm correct.
I believe you are correct on that.
My favorite game of all time is Metal Gear. I love the Metal Gear games. That and Final Fantasy. Not the anime crap that they have now. I can't stand that they switched it, but the original Final Fantasies, because I'm old as hell, on the original Nintendo and the Super Nintendo, which was Final Fantasy 3, I think. Just those are the games. Those are the games that are responsible for me still playing as a 45-year-old geezer.
45 is a geezer. Yeah, tell that to Woods.
That was for you, Woods.
Yeah. So let's switch gears a little bit and get into Madden, as Prime would say, switch gears. When did you start playing Madden? And obviously, how long have you been playing? And tell me a little bit about that.
So I've been playing Madden offline for years. Like probably, if I'm being honest, probably since the first or second one. And I was always an offline player. I just did franchises. So I would just take the Dolphins and try to win with them because they can't win on their own. So I would constantly do it offline. And then I had a teacher friend of mine actually, who got me into playing online. And this was back in the PS3. So I don't know if you were playing way back then, but so when I first started it online, it was the year that they had those over pumped drafts. Like they had all of those NFL player clones, like Jack English was the John Elway clone. And they had a LeBron James running back clone. His name was LeBron James. So that was kind of my intro into the franchises.
I definitely don't remember that, but I've been playing since Madden 04, believe it or not. And I mean, I'm only 24, so I was 7 when Madden 04 came out.
Right. Okay, so damn, I'm way older than you. So that was kind of my intro into franchises. Then I started running that league, and that league lasted for another probably 2 or 3 seasons, and then we folded that because there were some crazy people in there. And then I went over to another league that I was in with a lot of the SML guys, Mike, Matt, RD, Coop, NYT, Grams, and we were in that league for a long time. RD kind of came a little bit later, I think, if I remember correctly, and then that league got a little too crazy for us, so we went over and formed our other league. So Mike, myself, Coop ran that league along with another guy, 2 other guys actually. So I've been talking about this for a long time, but I've been doing franchises for a long time after that. So I'm happy to be here with you guys.
Yeah, that's that kind of touches on a little bit what I wanted to hit next with do you know the longest? I know you've mentioned Mike and Grams and some of those other guys, but who would you say that you've known the longest?
I would say probably Coop. Coop and Mike are probably the two that I've known the longest, and then and Graham's probably in there as well. So if I had to venture a guess, I'd probably say Coop just by a little bit. But yeah, I think it would be Coop.
Okay, cool. And my phone closed, so I don't have my notes up. All right, so have you had a chance to look over... you're our new Lions owner, so have you had the chance to look over their roster yet?
I actually have, yes.
Okay, so could you give me your initial impressions and maybe potential moves you might make?
There's definitely some good pieces. Like the secondary and wide receivers are pretty strong on this team. I mean, Hova... Like, I'm looking at it now. I have 8 or 9 receivers on this team. So he left me with a lot there, like this Torrey Wiggins kid with 98 speed, 97 acceleration.
Wiggins is a monster. I think he put up almost 300 on me. So
yeah, he's going to be fun to use. The issue, though, is I don't really have anyone to throw him the ball. So I'm going to need to find a quarterback at some point. Like, these guys are all young, but the one guy, DeMarcus Elam, seems to be pretty decent, so he's probably the guy I'm going to roll with out of the gate with the 94 throw power, but his accuracies are terrible. So I'm already 0-3, so we're probably just going to develop as much as we can here. So I'm gonna need to get some linebackers as well, especially middle linebacker. I tend to like to use a little middle linebacker, and the change of direction on these middle linebackers are pretty booty. So I'm going to have to try to get some linebackers too. So there's some definitely really good pieces here. It's just not built to the way I like to play. I tend to be a little bit like Matt, where I like to run the ball a lot because I make terrible decisions when I throw the ball. So having an inaccurate quarterback and slow running backs are going to be a challenge for me for sure.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you're too familiar with the history of that team, at least in terms of roster moves. If the Lions had a quarterback headed into this season by a name of Trevor Hartwig, who was I believe a former second-round pick, somewhere in that range, for the 49ers. Hova traded, I believe, a second-round pick for Hartwig 1-2 seasons ago, tops. And then either just cut him or didn't re-sign him, which was a very puzzling move to a lot of people. He had also been shopping DeAndre Swift for a long time, and I know we were talking about this afternoon, that we're like, well, he should have just started Swift from day one, which he didn't end up doing. He was splitting carries with Kerryon Johnson, and I believe a few others from time to time. And he was just able to move Swift to Atlanta this offseason. I didn't see what he got in return for it, but he was able to move that piece. So he's been moving things around, but is not the best developer.
Right. Yeah. I was checking over the stats just to kind of see who he was using at quarterback and stuff, and the quarterback stats are frightening. He was using Channing Baker, who has 0 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. So the interception ratio will be very similar to when I throw, because as I said, I tend to make some really terrible decisions throwing the football. So he hasn't even used Elam. Actually, looking at these stats now, so it's definitely going to be if you like snuff films. SML, you should probably watch my streams because it's going to be some murder happening out there.
So, speaking of DeMarcus Elam, I think he was the starter pre-Hartwig. I'm not sure. He may have been starting on another team. I think he was a starter at one point in the league. I'm just not sure where. So, one move that you maybe would have done differently than what Hova did.
Maybe not cut that quarterback. If I'm being honest, I don't know, to be honest with you, because I haven't seen kind of what the rosters would look like. What have looked like before. You know what? Then I would probably say the Swift trade because, as I said, I like to run the ball. So the league I was in before I joined Primer, I'm the Chiefs in that league. And Bomber asked me this question on First and Goal, and I did not just get rid of Travis Kelce for nothing. So sorry, Raider fan. I have Kareem Hunt in that league, and I've built him into a monster. So like I said, I run the ball a lot. So I would have, and DeAndre Swift in that league actually is huge. He's 99 overall. He's very good. So I'm surprised that he didn't use him out of the gate.
Yeah. So going back to Hartwig, he was a first round pick, 24th overall by the 49ers, and that was, I believe, 3 seasons ago. That was in the 2021 season, so that would have been 4 seasons ago. He played 2 seasons with the 49ers, was traded in the middle of his 3rd season, I believe it was like week 2 or something, to the Lions, and was not very good. 20 touchdowns, 40 interceptions. 16 touchdowns, 34 interceptions. So I believe, looking at that, it was coming off his rookie deal. He just didn't re-sign him. He went to free agency, and he signs a 3-year, $40-something million contract with the Bills. So that's like not even that expensive.
Right.
He's making $14 million this year. That's like a steal for any quarterback. He's 26. He started to have 84 overall.
Yeah, I'm just looking at his stats right now. Like, damn, I wish I had. I wish I had this guy. He seems a little bit similar to Drew Lock that I have in Primer, which I loathe, by the way. I find him just kind of broken, but he's definitely better than whatever I have on roster now. So it would have been nice to have him on the roster still.
Yeah, it's Lions roster is solid, but it's not without its holes. Only 2 players over 90 overall. Some teams have 6 or 7 of those guys. But there's always. I was looking at the roster just last offseason or something, and it's got solid depth if I remember correctly. I'm trying to find the roster here. Looking at overalls, I mean, you got at least, 15 in the range of 20, 80 plus overalls. So you got something to work with. It's not completely devoid of talent.
Absolutely, yeah. And like I said, the secondary is really strong, at least in my opinion. I'm not the greatest kind of roster builder when it comes to knowing the ins and outs of Madden, but I always know that cornerbacks are definitely hard to acquire, and there's some really solid pieces at corner. And the safeties are pretty good as well. So, you got Okuda at 96 overall, and this Spidell, who's 25 and already 89 overall. Seems to be pretty solid. I got to get his zone coverage up. He's great at man coverage. I don't know if Hova played a lot of zone. I tend to play a lot of man anyway, so it shouldn't be too bad, but that zone coverage at 73 could be a problem, but he's young and very good already, so there definitely is some strong pieces here.
Yeah, I mean, I'd wager to say that secondary is probably the strength. Jeff Okuda's a 96, and he's only 26, and we're 5 seasons in. As you mentioned, Ben Spidell, former second-round pick, 25-89 overall. And then former 4th overall pick in the draft, Juan Generals, is a 23-year-old 80 overall. That's crazy. And then you've got, a solid veteran behind him, 78 overall, Ronald Darby. He is 31, but, that's a solid body to have there, maybe splitting some snaps in the slot.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's speed here too, right? Even the 24, even Stevenson, who's 90 speed, but he's got 95 acceleration. So, and he's decent size at 6 foot. So it's there's definitely some good pieces here for me.
All right, yeah, I think we've spent enough time on this roster. Moving on, let's talk about your experience in the Primer. Did you like it there? What was that like? I used to be in the Primer, but I haven't been around in a while. because I took the Rams last cycle, and it just killed my spirit. That cap situation was not fun.
Yeah, you know what? I had a lot of fun, man. Like, had I not enjoyed the primer, I wouldn't have provided all the content and been around in chat like I was all the time, and like joined everyone's streams, and so I had a lot. I'm still in it. I haven't left it. So I'm willing to stay because they've had a lot of turnover recently. So I'm willing to stay as long as they need me. I had a lot of fun. My first game, I got waxed by Ostrich. It was I played really well on defense, but just getting to know the roster and the very first game, he beat me pretty bad. And then I think I went 3-3 the rest of the way. Ended up making the playoffs. I took over a 6-4 Falcons team. Ended up making the playoffs, and everyone seems to make fun of this, but I just can't beat Rowan. I can't. I played him 3 out of 4 weeks, so I played him last week the regular season, played him in the wild card round, and I played him the first game of the new season, and he beat me every time. So I got bounced out of the playoffs by Rowan. Right now, what am I in there? I think I'm 6-4 there right now as well. I lost to Rowan, and then I won 3 in a row. I had my turnaround game against Officers. I beat him, so that was nice. That was a big win. I'm really enjoying it. I said it before. I was looking. I like a more active chat, and in the primer, there's a lot of really good guys, but not a lot of them talk a lot. So that was one of the things that I in one of the articles I wrote. I talked about how it would be nice to kind of get an active chat. NYT took that and shared it with the primer guys, as he should, as Spooky said. But I was like, oh damn, you bastard! I hope no one's pissed at that. But I've really enjoyed being in there. I have a pretty solid team. When I joined, Gurley had just tore his Achilles, so he was out for 50 weeks, I think. So I haven't been able to use him. He's just coming back next week.
That's insane. I have not seen an injury that long in forever.
It's funny, actually. So you probably know Jones. Jones was in the SML for a while. He's in the primer.
Jonesy, shout out to Jonesy. Yeah,
he's a good guy, man. So he's tearing it up there.
No surprise there. Former multi-time SML champion.
Yeah. He has Mecole Hardman, and so Mecole Hardman got hurt, and then somehow ended up on a kick. He was blocking on a field goal coverage and ended up getting hurt for like 40 weeks or something like that. Like, it's a crazy injury, and he was already hurt. So like, there's been like massive injuries there for a couple of us. So it's been kind of a work in progress there with my roster, just kind of building it the way that I play. But I've really enjoyed it so far. There's a lot of good guys there.
You said Jonesy and Mecole Hardman in the same sentence, and I'm just gonna every guy in the SML is gonna have instant flashbacks to Jonesy and Curtis Samuel. So good to see Jonesy hasn't changed.
Yeah, he is a beast squad. He's the Jets over there, and he just got his running back to X Factor. I haven't had the pleasure of playing him yet, but I'm assuming once I do, that it's not going to be pretty for me.
All right, moving on. Let's talk about who are you least looking forward to. If you've looked at your schedule so far, who are you least looking forward to playing this season?
Figs. Sorry, not Figs. Faz.
Wow, that was rude.
Yeah.
Shout out to Figs.
Well, it's not so much Figs and the Lions have the same record right now at 0-3. And I haven't had the pleasure of watching Figs play, I don't think yet. But I have watched Foz play. And Foz tends to be able to know what play people are calling all of the damn time. And that's just going to mess with me psychologically. I just don't get down with those psychological warfare. I won't be able to watch his stream because I'm going to be like, damn, I'm embarrassed that he knew exactly what I was calling every single time. So, yeah, I'm not looking forward to playing Foz. He just beat the living hell out of Figs, wasn't it? Like, he put up 63 on him this week.
Yeah, we're let's move on from that.
Okay, fair enough.
As an admin, we have not had a chance to look into that yet, but I'm sure Faz been around long enough. I'm sure there wasn't anything going on there. All right, you threw me off you brought up the 63 and I got thrown off.
Listen, if I can just say something about Faz, like everything that I watch from Faz, he definitely plays on the up and up. Like I'm sure there's no shenanigans in there.
No, I believe you. We've never had an issue with Faz before, gameplay wise or anything like that. So, who do you think day one today? Who's going to be your number one rival?
My number one rival, it's got to be Mike. Mike and I tend to play kind of similar, very inconsistent. Like I can win 4 in a row, and then I'll go on and lose 4 in a row. Like I'm very up and down. And Mike and I, we've been playing together for so long, and we're always kind of like jokingly at each other's throats. So it's probably gonna be Mike.
Okay, so I know you haven't played a game yet. You were called up less than 12 hours ago. You play Mike week 14. I want you to predict the final score.
I'm going to say 35-28 for Mike. And we're probably going to throw a combined 10 interceptions.
All right, that's not out of the question because Mike has been known to throw a lot of interceptions.
So have I. I played a game in Primer against the Rams owner there. We threw a combined 9 last night, so we'll just add one more for our boy Mikey there.
So that's 9 total touchdowns. How many of those are pick sixes?
I'm gonna say 3.
Okay, all right. So you think 10 total turnovers, and you guys between the two of you are gonna be able to score 6 touchdowns.
Well, I watched him last night. He played the Falcons owner, and he was down big early, and then he got 3 picks by Alexander.
Jair's a beast.
And I think 2 of them were pick sixes. So I know I'm probably gonna throw at least 1 to that guy. That guy just looks like a monster.
Got a talented roster, and he can sling the ball. He's just got to stop turning it over, and he's going to win, 12 games a season probably. All right. So
sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. We're moving on now. All right. So everybody's got their niche. Me personally, I'm an admin. I'm a subpar, above average Madden player who likes to fold in the playoffs. Also incredibly handsome and incredibly humble. We have Prime, who's the commish and the goat. That's his niche. We have Woods. He's the old guy. That's his thing. What's your thing? What niche are you gonna fill?
That's a good question. I normally fill the old guy role. So since Woods took that, and if it's not the old guy, it's the nice guy. But that seems to be Foz as well.
Flaccid Faz.
Well, being from Canada, right? Like I have no choice.
Well, I think you might have to oust Faz from his nice guy role then.
That's probably what it's probably. And if I have to venture a guess, that's probably what it's going to be. I'm not good enough to be a perennial playoff guy to fold in the playoffs. I play a lot like Matt, where I run the ball fairly well, pass the ball like I'm blind. So I don't know, man. I just what I'm probably going to be. I'm hoping to be a content guy. Like I'm always willing to jump in podcasts, write articles. Do that kind of stuff. Just looking to be as active as I possibly can. Maybe hopefully be a little bit like Deathwish. I guess Deathwish was a guy that was really kind of pushing articles in Primer when he came in, and I was like, I should probably get on that. And I didn't write too many, but I spent a lot of time working on them, so I thought they were pretty good. So hopefully I'll be a content guy.
I love that because I myself consider myself a content guy. You saying DW, that's perfect because he came in and was immediately first day doing polls, doing articles and Faz came in. He's a relatively new guy too, and is co-hosting a podcast like within a couple of months. QP, I believe, is even co-hosting a podcast, which I believe episode 3 should be in a couple of weeks or so, or less than that. So, yeah, it's always great to see new guys come into the league and immediately contribute on the content front. You can never have too much content.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's funny that was one of the reasons why I didn't join. If I'm being honest with you,
I feel bad. I left out D-Muse. He's also the co-host of QP's podcast.
Yeah, that's the high heat. No,
flying high, smoking doobies. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, I've checked it out a couple times. They do a good job. But yeah, like Mike was talking to me, and I was like, man, like, because I did that back in the UFL days. Sorry, not the UFL. Yeah, the UFL. And I was like, you know what? Like, I don't know if I have time for that. And then when I got to Primer, I was like, man, I was really off. Like, my initial perception of the SML was completely misguided because I had such a jaded experience in the UFL. So I'm glad I got over my initial reaction and joined, because the content that you guys put out is top notch. Like I don't sub to anybody on YouTube except for the SML.
Well, we're gonna keep your content. We're gonna keep your content feed up and running. We're putting out podcasts like almost every day, practically.
I'm excited about that, man.
It's okay. So last question of this section. Looking at the Lions stats, Channing Baker has 6 interceptions. Jimmy Garoppolo has 2. Kyle Freeman has 1. That's 9 total interceptions between 3 quarterbacks in 3 games, which I don't know why 3 different guys were starting. But how many interceptions is this team going to finish with through 16 games? It's already got 9.
Oh, Lord. So I'm generally good for 20 to 25 interceptions. Like I said, I'm the Chiefs in my original league. I have Patrick Mahomes. I don't think I've thrown more than 30 with him. I really hope not, because he is the best QB in the game, I guess.
Shout out to Raider, who thinks he's not.
Well, yeah, no, I can't agree with that. But I mean, he's not broken like Lamar is.
That
right?
was the most polite disagreement I've ever heard.
Canadian, buddy. I have no choice. I'm going to say, so we have 9 right now. I'm going to say we're probably going to finish with 32. I'm going to say 32.
Okay. Believe it or not, that would not be near the league lead. League lead every season this cycle has been at least 44.
That is insane. Like in the one article I wrote for Primer, I had touched on. So I did. This is the kind of article I'm probably going to carry with me. So I did like a Monday morning quarterback style article. So I with just random thoughts, and I talked about interceptions. And at this point, when I wrote the article, which was 2 weeks ago, that would have been week 8, I believe. There were 6 guys that already had 20 interceptions. So I was like, those numbers are just ungodly. Like, I mean, I throw my fair share, but I'd like to think I don't throw that many. So I'm really hoping to kind of keep those numbers, especially with the quality of quarterback I'm working with. I really need to kind of minimize those turnovers. So hopefully I don't get too high. I don't get to 40.
I definitely don't have the stats right out in front of me right now, but I'd have to say league average per season is probably around 20-ish. So if you only throw 20, that's not bad. Usually, this cycle at least, the guy with the least amount of interceptions has like 13 or 14 or 15, somewhere in that range. So this league throws a lot of interceptions.
Yeah, I'll never be that guy that throws less than 20.
I was once, and I think I went to the Super Bowl, and then I got blown out. So,
hey, you've been to the big dance.
Yeah, which is, a lot of people like to talk, and they haven't been there. But this podcast is not about me.
There we go.
All right, let's get to it. This is my favorite segment that I came up with, rapid fire. So how this is going to work is, it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm gonna say a question, and I want you to answer without thinking about it real fast. And we're not going to look into it. And if guys want to bring this up in chat later, go for it, okay? But your answer is your answer, and that's just it. All right, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, rapid fire. Here we go. Top 3 pizza toppings.
Ooh, pepperoni, bacon, mushroom.
Nice. LeBron or Michael Jordan?
I'm a LeBron guy.
Okay. I know league varies widely. What's 47 plus 22?
69.
Nice. Where does Kobe rank all time? Top 5, 10, 15, or other?
Are we talking scorers or all-time player?
All-time players.
Outside my top 10.
Ooh, okay, that's kind of low, but that's all right. The world ends in 24 hours. What do you do?
Oh, you're bringing up May songs? 24 Hours to Live? I am going to spend it with my family.
That's cute. Spell Wednesday.
Wednesday.
All right, we have a smart guy on our hands. Do you use light mode or dark mode in GroupMe?
Oh, God, dark mode all the way.
Thank God. Okay. How many games are you going to win this season?
2.
Well, that's terribly optimistic of you.
All
right, that's all I got. So,
nice, man.
Yeah, hey man, thanks for coming on. I want to leave you with this. You are our newest call up, right? What advice can you give to any primer guys that have suffered through all 37 minutes of this? To maybe they can be next. What advice would you give them?
You know what? I think since I joined, I was probably one of the most active guys in chat. And I once I started providing articles, is when I got the call. Because in the season that I was there, I was the only one that wrote something, I think. So, and then after I wrote a couple, the Titans guy, who's a great owner, shout out to Benny. He wrote one as well. So get on the blog and start writing some articles there, guys.
Yeah, I am from the outside perspective, and I am an admin, but I had no say in the call up. That usually goes to Primer leadership and Prime. So just from the outside, I think what really put you over the top was showing up in streams for SML guys. Like, we rarely see Primer guys show up in streams that they're not even in that league. They're not even paying attention to this league. But I think what really put you over the top was getting in those streams, getting some good rapport with the guys. And I mean, that's how, actually, I was introduced to you from the Primer First and Goal. So Primer guys, I'd say do some podcasts. That's really going to put your name on the radar more than anything. And then just get in chat, start talking with guys. Whether it's Primer chat or game chats for SML games, that's where you're going to get most activity probably. So, yeah, that's very solid advice. And I think anybody that is going to listen to this is going to take it, because I don't expect many Primer guys to listen to this. And if you do listen to it, I'm impressed with you. And maybe you're next.
There you
go. So I think that'll do it for us here at the SML Podcast Network. Thanks, Finz, for joining me on our first episode. We'll call it the pilot. I don't know what to call it. Getting to know Finz. Hey, thanks for coming on, man. And I'm looking forward to getting to know you better in the league.
I appreciate the invite, man. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe, whatever Field always says at the end of his videos. Hit that like button. Smash that like button. And come back next time.